Hey gamers, this is Liz Davidson from Beyond Solitaire, and today I'm going to be doing an overview of Sammu-ramat. This is a cooperative game from Ion Games that is about Sammu-ramat. She was a very powerful queen in Assyria who helped manage a very large empire between the death of her husband and her son coming of age. She is considered to have been a very successful leader in her time, and this is a game that is about coping with some of the challenges that she coped with. And the way that you're going to do that is as her advisors. So the idea of Sammu-ramat is that we're all cooperating to support our queen and help extend our empire to other areas of the world. So this game is quite variable. It depends on the challenge card that you are playing. Setup can be different every single time, but each setup will have a lot in common, so this setup should help you with future ones. So what we are playing is called Queen's Road. And basically the idea of this one is that we have lost some of our territory and we need to get it back. So this yellow road here is the Queen's Road. As long as there are no enemies or unrest blocking the way, then you're actually able to fast travel along the road. But as you can see, at one end and at the other, we're having some problems. So in order to win this particular scenario, then we're going to need to have at least one military in Sardis over here. And we're also going to need to get Ishtar gates in Phrygia, in Assyria, where fortunately we do start with one, in Babylonia, and in Elam. So these are areas that we need to regain control of in order to win. And that's actually a good thing to kind of talk about because a lot of the main concepts of the game are expressed in conquering areas. So basically, in order to call an area yours and place an Ishtar gate, you need to get rid of enemy soldiers. We'll clear it out. And then what we're going to want to do is make sure that we have medicine, a diviner, supplies, and military all in that one place. You need one of each kind of show of your civilization in order to take over an area and place an Ishtar gate there. So we're basically bringing our civilization, as we see it, to these other areas that maybe have other ideas right now, but we're an empire and we're going for it. This card also had setup information that told me how much military, how much medicine, how many diviners to put out on this board. So basically the back is going to tell you all of that information, as well as where to put enemies and what to put in this draw bag, which is a mixture of good and bad events. And speaking of events, we also have events down this column over here. Basically, events are a timer and they add a little bit of spice to the proceedings. So these could be good or bad. In a solo game, which we're going to be playing here, there's 7 events. The number of events changes depending on how many players there are. And once you run out of events, if you run through all of them and you've not succeeded, then you do lose your challenge card challenge. There are, however, lots of ways to lose this. Basically, every time you lose one of your pieces on the map, a diviner, a bit of the army, you have to use up some supplies, they come back over here to your empire board. And if at the part of your turn where you check this, you have a full board of them, you lose the game immediately. So we can't have an empire that has no medicine, no diviners, no supplies, no military. All of those would represent a major failure on our part, and therefore we would lose the game. If we don't finish on time, we lose the game. If Sammu-ramat, who is one of our pieces on the board, is killed, then we lose the game. So there are a lot of ways to lose, and there's only one way to win. What's also fun, however, is that once you get used to doing individual challenges, there are actually rules to string some of them together to do a campaign. So there are a bunch of different ways to play this. They're quite fun. So we also have some other major components down here. First, we have our advisors. So basically our advisors, there's some special instructions in the setup for this particular challenge, but typically your advisors will be in their capital of origin. So Yunan, Dinah, and Sammu-ramat are all in the capital of Assyria, in Kalu. According to some special instructions, Basime, who would normally start with us, is in the capital of Canaan, Jerusalem, and Wardia is hanging out in Men-Nefer in Egypt with our priestess Amunet. So we know what advisors we have access to because of where we have Ishtar gates placed. So the advisors from these 3 regions are going to be available to us. If we gain more areas, we actually gain more advisor options. If we lose areas on the map, then we lose our advisors from that area. Or if your advisor is defenseless during a military attack from the enemy, they can actually die and be removed from the game permanently. The other thing that's sort of interesting is that, so in a co-op game, every player who is playing would choose one of these as their personal advisor, and you'd flip the card. It's like a little stronger. It's your personal advisor. And nobody gets to play Sammu-ramat. Sammu-ramat in a multiplayer game is basically a public advisor herself, so people can call on Sammu-ramat to take action, but she's not like their character. On a solo game, however, you are playing as Sammu-ramat, so we are Sammu-ramat, and we get to do stuff as Sammu-ramat, and we also get to take actions with our various advisors in different parts of the empire. So typically, in a multiplayer game, the turn is divided into, one player will go, they're going to choose which advisor they're going to use, they're going to take actions with them, and then the next player will choose. I, as a solo player, get to take 6 actions on my turn using 3 different people. So I can't, do 2 actions with Sammu-ramat 3 times. I have to choose 3 different advisors and, do our thing. I also have these discs to show which advisors I have chosen to track so I don't accidentally do something twice. I also have my opening hand here of Ashur cards. So we're going to draw these each turn. But I get to start with 5, and I have a higher hand limit than you would have in a co-op game because I'm playing by myself and I'm managing 1 hand for all these people. When it comes to the co-op rules, I'll leave you to discover that for yourselves. What I'm thinking for this particular game is that I'm going to teach it by playing 2 events because not every part of a turn happens on the first event of the game. So we're going to play event 1, we'll do some actions, we'll play through event 2, do some actions, and then that should get you started on a game of Sammu-ramat. So the sequence of play is basically you do spread. So if there's unrest or plague on the board, it'll spread around. Fortunately, we don't have to deal with that. Not this turn. And then you do an event. So we'll do that in a moment. Then after that, you're going to have enemies attacking. There's monthly effects on the challenge card. There's card draw. You collect taxes. We're going to skip all of that and then move right into our actions for the first turn. Which is why I'm playing 2 turns so you can see it all. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to flip an event card. Oof. Okay, so this one is an assassination attempt. So Sammu-ramat, while being a total beast, is also hated by some because she's the boss, and not everybody likes that. So there will be assassination attempts on her throughout the game. If 3 of them get on her card, you lose because she died. So in this case, normally we would just put an assassination attempt on her card. However, we actually got lucky this time. Sammu-ramat is co-located with her advisor Dinah, who is a bodyguard. So she has a persistent ability. If you look at this infinity sign, this is always active. You don't have to use an action for it. This counts as 1 defense, which is good. And she also cancels an assassination attempt if she's co-located with Sammu-ramat. So the fact that she was co-located means that we don't have to put an assassination attempt on Sammu-ramat's card. That first event passed as uneventfully as is actually possible in this game. Some of these events are horrible, some of them are great, and you just really don't know what you're getting. So that was actually a wipe the sweat off my brow, it worked out kind of event. So what we're going to do now is actually we're going to skip straight to our actions, but we won't do that on the second turn. Only in the first turn do you skip straight over to your actions. So the play rate for this game is actually great. There's lots of information about how many actions you can take. Solo rules are in the rule book on page 24, at least in the prototype that I have. This is a prototype, by the way. It's a very nice prototype. Published version of the game is probably a bit nicer than mine, but this does just fine. So I have an action list of stuff I can do. I can take a special action. So you might notice Dinah has a special persistent action, but every advisor also has an action that's all their own, that's their special action, and you can take it on their turn. You can move 1 step, carrying up to 2 empire tokens. So any of these are empire tokens. So you're going to carry stuff around to bring your civilization to different places. You can attack. So let's move any number of military in your location to attack an adjacent army. And we will try to get through 1 attack in here so you can see how battle works in this game. It's very simple. It's deterministic. No surprises. But it takes some work to win and get all these guys. You can barter. So everybody started with some goods. Basically, you can turn any 2 goods into 1 supply, or any 1 supply into 2 goods in these areas. But be careful, don't ever get rid of your last supply. You'll lose control of an area. Or you could pick up a technology token. So there are little technology tokens placed around the board, and you can send your advisors to pick them up, and it gives them a bonus. There are also some free actions you can take. They don't cost you anything, but you can't do more than 5 of them on a given turn, so don't get too greedy now. But you can trade goods or trade cards. So if you've got 2 characters in the same location, they can trade stuff, and that's fine. At a market location, you can also trade goods. So in most markets, you can trade 2 goods that you have for 1 that is the area good. So there's symbols on each of these areas to show you what kinds of goods are available. But if you're in Damascus, you can trade any 2 goods that you have for any other good that you want, because Damascus is just a good place to do business. So be aware that you have these kinds of options as you go. There's also some really nice icon guides in the back. And there's actually another player's aid card. This is like the front and back that give you most of the other information you need to know. One thing I like about this game is that you don't have to consult the rulebook too much. Once you can read the player aid cards, they're quite good. All right, so let's go ahead and do 6 actions, and then we'll do another event, and we'll do some more actions just so you can kind of see how this works. So I have a goal, and my goal is to get control over these areas. If I can have control over all 3 of these at the end of a month, I win no matter what else is going on the map. However, I also have to watch out here and here because I do have some enemy soldiers who are going to annoy me, and I have to make sure I don't just let that sit because that's very dangerous. I'm thinking that maybe my best bet is to come over here and take these areas out. Try to hold this area for a little bit as these soldiers come in and then pop back the other way. That could be a mistake, and I may get distracted because I have to deal with stuff, but we'll see how it goes. So one thing I really want to do is come down in here, and I want to get a bunch of soldiers. Like, that's my first goal, is I want to come down here and I want to get some military so I can beat these guys up. So even though I prefer it when Dinah and Sammu-ramat are together, because Dinah can protect Sammu-ramat from assassination attempts, I actually want to take Dinah from the capital, I think, and I want to move her along the Queen's Road to Opus. And that might be my first action. So let's just do it. If I mess up, that's fine. This is a sample game anyway. Haha. All right, so let's do Dinah. And she is going to move from Kalu straight to Opus along the Queen's Road. So you can move anywhere along that road where you're not interrupted by an enemy or unrest, and have it count as one move. So I took advantage of the Queen's Road, and here I am in Opus. But I don't want to mess up here because she needs some soldiers with her, or else she's in deep doo-doo because these guys are going to come and attack. So we can't have that now. No. So what we're going to do to help her is Dinah already gets 1 defense just automatically, so she's pretty great. And then we are going to use some of her goods to play this card called Rob Mugi. So, titles of high-ranking Assyrian and Babylonian officials. Basically, this could have gotten me 1 military, but I'm playing it in Babylonia for 3 military instead. And it's going to cost me 2 cloth. Dinah started with 3. So we're going to pay these 2 resources as printed on the card so that we can put 3 military in this area. So that is 1 card played. And I'm going to put my dudes here with Dinah. So there is one thing you have to be careful about, and I'm actually going to check it myself right now. Basically, in order to have between 11 and 15 soldiers out on the map, I need to have at least 6 supplies. So currently I've got 6 supplies. But if something happened and I lost my supplies, I would also have to lose some of my military from the map. So you have to be really careful about watching it with your resources because they do impact each other. Similarly, you have to have a certain amount of medicine out in order to get more diviners out. So I need to get my medicine out on the board as well so I can get more diviners out too. Some things have to come before other things in order to fully work. All right, so Dinah's done her stuff. Now I can pick somebody else. Our next person, one thing I want to do is eventually we need to get some medicine in these areas in order to take them over and also get some out on the board so that I can put more diviners out. So one thing I might want to play is this Boltu Latku card. Eventually it gets 3 medicine out. I don't have everything I need to do it now, but I can get there. I'm going to use Yunnan to do that up here in Kalu. So he is going to start getting the copper he needs to pay for this card. So I need 3 copper. This will give me 2 copper. So I'm going to play this card. It's 1 action to get 2 copper because I feel like that's a good thing. And then if I want to, I have these starting goods. I might want them to play cards later. I have to decide. I could play 3 goods, draw 2 cards, because that is his special action. As you can see here, I could play 3 goods, draw 2 cards. I don't necessarily want to do that right now, but it's an option. I have to think about what else I want to do with this guy, because I have 2 actions with him, and I don't want to waste them. I think I might actually pay these 3 goods to draw 2 more Asher cards. My hand limit's 7, so I can go pretty crazy here. All right, so these are Tooth Snake. That's kind of interesting. So that is going to give me some copper. No, so for this one, I'd pay some copper to do medicine, which isn't too bad. That's something I was interested in anyway. And then I have Kepu, Trusted One. So basically, I could pay 2 copper in order to get some supplies, which also seems pretty great. So those were some good draws, actually. I'm really happy with that. So now Yunnan is done. He's done his 2 actions. Let's go ahead and have our girl Sammu-ramat take some actions now, because we should. She's awesome. So, Sammu-ramat has 2 special actions on her card that we might try. One is play one Asher card without paying its cost, or I can pay 3 goods to draw 2 cards. But I think I want to play one of these cards, but like not have to pay anything, because that is so cool. So actually, that copper was good, but I could use Sammu-ramat to just do Boltu Latku, which is fantastic. So I think I'm going to do that. So let's go ahead, and she doesn't actually have to pay this cost. So it's actually sad because this was a good token going into the draw bag. So I'm going to miss out on the opportunity to do that, but it's free. I don't have to pay any copper. So we're going to play this card to put 3 medicine tokens with Sammu-ramats here in Kalu. So basically now I have to figure out how to spread these around, but that's going to be possible. So then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move her. So Sammu-ramat is going to come to hang out with Dinah because she's at risk because there's military here. Like, this is maybe really stupid, but I also don't care. We're going to try it. I can move her away again if I must. So she's going to bring her medicine here, and she's also with Dinah, so that assassination attempts won't work. So this is super dangerous to do, but I also just live dangerously. So Dinah and Sammu-ramat are in the same place now, and Sammu-ramat has done both of her actions. So those are all my actions. I did everything. And now we're going to do kind of end of turn stuff, and then we'll play through one more turn just to kind of see how everything works out. So I've done my action phase, and I'm now in what's known as the resolve phase. So I have to check my Empire tokens, Sammu-ramat, and Ishtar. So basically the way this goes is that I need to make sure I didn't lose or have any problems because of my Empire tokens, but we're cool. It's all good. I have to check Sammu-ramat. Does she have 3 assassination tokens on her? Is she dead? She's not. She's fine. We're going to do an Ishtar check. Did I lose any Ishtar gates that I had? I did not. So we made it through the resolve phase just fine, and then we would check for win or lose, but we know we haven't won yet. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way back to the top, spread an event. So there's nothing to spread. There is no unrest on the board. There are no plagues, so we're okay on that. And then we're going to do another event. Who knows what it will be. All right. Unfortunately, we had a flood in Canaan. To enter or exit is going to cost 2 steps, and it loses a supply. Canaan, I mean, that sucks. Especially because we've got people who are kind of stuck down here that I can't make the most of right now, and I don't love that. But there are worse things. So, basically, it's going to cost extra to move in or out of Canaan, so it'll be somebody's whole turn, and if I use in this turn. And, yeah. It's going to cost a supply, and it's going to add a plague token to the capital of Canaan. So basically you do this banner part first. So we're going to lose 1 supply, sadly. We'll leave this one here. We'll lose this supply because this is the one that's marking that Canaan has one. So this comes back here. So we want to get some more supplies out so we don't have to lose our guys. So we already did our Empire board check at the end of last turn, so we're okay for now. But if things are still like this at the end, then I have to lose some soldiers too, because you have to have at least 6 supplies out to have as many soldiers out as I've got. So I probably should do something about that. Or I'm going to choke my military. And then we just know that to enter or exit is going to cost 2 extra steps, so we don't have to do anything for this. We do put 1 plague token out in Jerusalem. So that is unfortunate. We also have to think about what we're going to do with Wardia, because she can't just like stay there. So all characters except those with medicine abilities and or medicine tech tokens has to move my choice of 1 or 2 steps, and they have to be away from the capital with the plague. So it doesn't say that I can't move to a new area. So I might actually take advantage of this situation to push Wardia out to Asher. Because that's only 1 step, and I could move 1 or 2 steps, so I'm still within the rules here, and it kind of gets her somewhere that is, like, helpful, because I want to kind of get people down in this area to conquer things. So maybe that was a blessing in disguise? I don't know. Unfortunately, our military is here, and I don't know if she's allowed to take them or not. So normally you can move with up to 2 Empire tokens, but it didn't say whether you can. So I'm going to assume that you can't, because that makes it harder. So Wardia just got out, but our military is just kind of in here, and that stinks. It's not really clear that anything actually happens to them from plague, but it just kind of blocks me and messes up my moves. So that was the event. And now we are going to follow the instructions here. So basically, enemies are going to attack. We're going to then apply the challenge card monthly effect. So the first thing is enemies attack. So enemies move before they attack, and they move one step closer to Kalu. So that means that this guy will come here, these guys will come here. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these guys will come up here. These dudes will move here. Basically, I'm just kind of going clockwise. There's an actual order in the rulebook, but I'm a bum. I do have to look it up for here, though, because these guys are more complicated. All right, so this is going to matter because, yeah, it'll go clockwise. It'll be 6, 7, and then 8. So basically what's going to happen is that these guys would move, but they won't because there's too much defense here. So then these guys are going to kind of bottleneck and join them, which is a little scary because if more soldiers end up here, then they will be able to overpower us, and we do not want that at all. And then these guys are going to come here. So basically everybody moved a bit closer, but nothing happened yet. However, if Dinah didn't count as 1 defense, we'd be in trouble and these guys would come in. So basically, the way that battle works in this game is it's 1-to-1. So 4 is bigger than 3. If these advisors weren't here, these guys would basically come in and we would lose all 3 of our soldiers. They'd lose 3 of theirs and there would just be 1 dude left to represent them in Babylonia. Since I have 2 people here, one of whom is Dinah, who counts as 1 defense, she basically prevents them from coming in because it's 4-to-4. They won't actually enter a battle that they know they're going to lose. So these guys are kind of bottlenecked for right now, but they won't stay that way. Eventually, they're going to kind of run in. So that means that we need to figure out what we want to do with Dinah and Sammu-ramat because they're in danger where they are right now. So do we move them out? Do we move more soldiers in? Do we just kill all these guys and then try to raise more military? We have to figure out what we want to do. So as enemies attack, we have to apply the challenge card monthly effect. So we look at our challenge card, and we know that in month 2, we add 2 bad guys in Sardis, and we draw 1 from the draw bag. So we're going to put 2 soldiers here in Sardis, which is bad. We need to figure this out so we can get back over here because this is going to get unwieldy real quick. And then we do have to draw from the draw bag. So I don't know what it is. It could be horrible. We'll find out. All right, so basically I drew the only good thing in the bag. This is like a religion token, a divine token. So basically I can use it for one of 3 things. I can use it to remove an assassination token from Sammu-ramat. She doesn't have any. I can put it on her to cancel the next assassination attempt that's placed on her. I can place it on an event card that's not flipped yet. So basically I can't know what event it is, so I could be canceling something good, but I can decide that the next event won't happen. And so if I'm really in a rough spot, I want to be sure, I might choose to cancel the next event, just have an easy turn. But I'm going to put it on Sammu-ramat because I don't want her to get assassinated, and that's just a convenient place to put that. So I have done the challenge card monthly effect. I added my soldiers. I drew my token. Next, I'm going to draw Asher cards. So normally your hand limit's 5, but mine's 7. I get to draw 2. So in a multiplayer game, you would draw 1 Asher card, but I draw 2 because it's solo. So what have I got? Stuff. So Sa'iltum. Several occupations in religion were held by women, such as dream interpreters. Oh, cool. So basically I can get some more medicine out on the board, which is sweet. Series of the Fox. Interesting. So this will let me get some diviners out, especially if I do it in Phrygia. So I might hold on to that and use it later to get my diviners in Phrygia and take it over in some way. Or I could use it early and, have it dealt with. We'll figure it out. I've done that. And now I get to do one more cool thing, which is collect taxes. I can gain 2 goods from each of my Ishtar Gate areas, max 6 goods in total. So, and I can distribute this among any of the advisors I want. So that's pretty awesome because here I'm going to get 2 lapis lazuli and I need to decide who to give it to. I really don't know. Nothing costs lapis yet either, but let's just put it on, Wardia. No, let's put it on Basime. She's up in our area now. She's cool. Maybe do something with that. And then I can collect 2 cloth from Assyria. Let's put this on Diocles, who has no cloths. And I wanted it for him last time to maybe play some military, and that was a pain. So let's put that on him. And then over here in Egypt, I can get some jewelry. And I don't really know who needs that right now, but let's just put it on Dinah because she doesn't have any. And there we go. We've collected our taxes. So basically you can get, for a total of up to 6 goods, you can get 2 goods from places that you have in Ishtar Gate. So there were 3 places, 2 goods, 6 total. That was an easy tax round. If I had more places, I'd have to do some more picking and choosing. All right, and now it's time for more actions once again. So one of my priorities is going to be to get some more supplies out, because we can't play with that. We need to keep our military going, and that means supplies must come out. So I think what we're going to do is, let's pull these back from last turn. All right, so I have a couple of priorities right now. What I'd like to do is clear this out and try to take it over and get an Ishtar Gate here. I don't know if that's entirely possible, but we're going to try. So I need to maybe get another soldier out and get in a fight with these guys, and then we can like put more stuff out. The problem is that I need to get enough guys out to not just like lose everything. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Let's have Basime go first this time. Basime, you're so cool. I'm so glad we got her, because she can move in here with us into, like, basically from Asher, there's a line. We're going to go to Opus. And Basime, as her special ability, she counts as 1 defense, which is bomb. But also, I can discard 1 Asher card to pay 3 goods, which she's got, to gain 2 soldiers in her current location. We haven't done an Empire check yet. So I think that she can get away with that, and we have to give it away at the end of the turn. That's how I understand the rules of this time. Yeah, so I'm looking at the rules. It says that if any of the thresholds are not met, you have to return them from the map. You have to return tokens from the map during the resolve phase. So I think that means I can just push it here. So we're going to. So what I'm going to do, yes, is that Basime is going to. But Basime is going to get rid of 1 of these cards. Let's get rid of Sa'iltum, which is kind of like Tooth Snake, but not as good. So we're going to discard this Asher card, because Basime lets you discard 1 of them and pay 3 goods to gain 2 military in her current location. So what we're going to do, is we are going to get rid of 3 of our resources. Let's just dump our cloth, as careless as that is. And we're going to get 2 soldiers in her location. All right, so that was Basime. She went. She's so cool. And then let's have Dinah do something. Dinah is going to do an attack action, and we want that because we need to get these guys out of here. So an attack action, when you take it, is basically you move any number of soldiers in your area to an adjacent location. So we're going to move these guys all in. It's 4-4. So it's basically like a perfect wipeout, which is lazy on my part, but I want to keep that 5th guy there with my people. So these guys actually all come back. So I would still meet the threshold, but I'm about to drop some supplies anyway. So it would have worked out either way. So that was tough. But we needed to get these guys out of here. So Dinah actually has 1 more action, and let me see what she could do. I wish that she had 2 cloths still, because I could put a diviner out, and that would be really killer good. All right, so I actually would really have liked to do more with Dinah, but I'm actually a little bit stuck because I can't play with her the cards that I wanted to play, which is a bummer. All right, so I think I'm just gonna forego her second action and leave her there as defense. And then let's do something with Sammu-ramat. I don't know if I want to leave her here. I might want to move her back to a more defended area. But I do want to use her to play some cards first. Alright, so since you can take any combination of several actions, of your actions, including more than 1 of the same, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to leave Sammu-ramat here, and I'm going to use her special action twice. We're going to play 2 Asher cards without paying any cost, because So for action 1, we're going to put out 2 supplies, which will be great for us. And we'll put 1 here in Babylonia. Also, this could have gone here. And then this supply will just kind of hang out in the area. So we've got extra medicine, extra supplies here now. Then we are going to play King of the Four Corners, which I really don't want to pay the price for because it puts another assassination attempt in the bag. Yikes. So we are going to play that with Sammu-ramat in order to do 2 diviners in that area and 1 soldier. So we can put 2 diviners here. We'll put 1 here in Opus, I guess. We'll put it in Babylon. And then we'll do 1 soldier. So now we've got enough supply down to do that for sure, and we're all good. So what that's going to mean is that we now have enough stuff here to place an Ishtar Gate during the Ishtar Gate check, which is killer good. So everybody's done all their stuff. I placed my little console markers. So we've performed all of our actions, and now we're in the resolve phase. So we're checking our Empire tokens. So basically this is where if I didn't have enough supplies out, I would have to put some soldiers back, but we're good. I got enough supplies out by the end of the turn. We're cool. Same thing with medicine and diviners. I have enough medicine out to place more diviners, so I'm okay on that front. So my Empire token check is good. Sammu-ramat, is she alive? Is she safe? Yes. Then we can do an Ishtar check. So we still have everything here we need, everything here we need, everything here we need. We're all cool, and we can add an Ishtar Gate right here. Because this area has all the hallmarks of my civilization. I've got a diviner, a soldier, 1 supply, and 1 medicine. So we're about to have some problems with these guys coming from Ur. They're going to move from Ilam to Ur on this next turn, but so for now, like, we've got control of this area, and I would just have to do something dramatic on the next turn in order to deal with these. And then I would do a win and lose check. I have not won yet, although I made some progress towards that goal. There's a lot left to do in the upcoming months. Yikes. But I also did not lose, so the loss check would also go through. And we move on to the event in month 3. So that's basically how you play this game. Try to be smart with your advisors. Try to watch the goods that you have to pay for these cards. And do your very best to protect Sammu-ramat and her legacy. So that's how to solo Sammu-ramat from Ion Games. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. And most of all, happy gaming.